Hi everyone, so this video is to help you with the beginning of the student skills chapters. So these are time management, reading comprehension this week, and then next week it will be note taking, study skills, and test taking. The one thing to keep in mind about all of these chapters, these are skills you already possess. However, we are trying to work on building better habits in these areas, especially since a lot of the habits we have from K through 12 were kind of what I call just enough to get by. And they weren't necessarily things that are going to translate into being a successful college student. So the first thing we're going to look at is time management. This chapter, this information, I think is huge, especially if you're a first semester student coming straight out of some kind of high school environment, because in that environment, everything time-wise was pretty much delegated to you. How long you were in class, when you ate lunch, when they picked you up, when school started, when you could go to the bathroom, like everything. And even within the classes, I don't know if students know this, but as teachers, we're required to segment time in the K through 12 system for instruction and assessment and activities. So we break all of that down for you. Whereas when you are in college, it's pretty much on you as the student and as an individual to do all of that on your own. So it's like a complete 180. So that's probably why it feels very different when you first start college. All right, time management. So these are some bullet points, kind of walking through, I guess, the big ideas here. I would say the biggest thing is that you are trying to be effective with your time management so that you don't have to deal with the stress and the pressure, and it does involve planning. So if you are somebody that is not great with planning, you probably feel like you're not doing great with time management because one kind of leads into the other. And here's more details about those differences. So the K through 12, pretty much the classes are focused on, like I said, those learning activities and the student interaction, and the teacher has kind of blocked out time for learning and for introducing topics, but then also going through activities to be able to in class spend time walking through something. Whereas in college, you will probably have noticed most classes are more lecture based. So it's just presenting the information, maybe giving some explanation, maybe introducing topics, and then everything else you are pretty much going to do on your own. So all those other things, homeworks, right, projects, quizzes, test, studying, rereading material, reading and learning and going through extra or like related materials, all of that you're doing on your own. So that means the majority of your work in college is being done outside of the classroom, which also means you're probably doing it primarily yourself, right, as an individual. And that is where this rule comes into play. So in the book, it talks about this 2-to-1 rule. This is an assumption that we make in college that students understand. For every hour that you're in class, you're spending about 2 hours on the class, whether that be reading, rewriting your notes, making note cards, working homework problems, looking through a video or a PowerPoint, studying. Any of those things related to the class would count towards this time requirement. But that is what's expected of you, because instead of being in class Monday through Friday for an hour or an hour and a half, right, most of your classes now are going to be 2 days a week. Maybe some of you are in a 3-day-a-week class. Some of you are in 1-day-a-week classes, right? So we are not there every day. We are not in the classroom doing these things. You are doing them on your own, hence that time expectation. When it comes to time management, there are tools and strategies. So some tools that are helpful: sticky notes, to-do lists, planners, calendars. I will say there are paper versions of things, and some people still prefer the paper version. You are probably a visual learner if you prefer that paper version, okay? There's also now, right, everybody has a device. Sorry, I'm trying to find mine so I can pull it up and show. We all have devices, right? So that's probably how a lot of you do use your time management tools is through your device. So I know I still use sticky notes, and I still use a paper calendar, but my device is where everything lives because it will yell at me, right? So if I put something in the calendar or in the planner, it will set, or I can set a notification so that it can yell at me, because otherwise I will not remember it exists. And if I make a sticky note, I make so many of these, they end up being decoration a lot of times. So just a heads up, make sure you find whatever works best for you. And that's kind of what we're doing in these chapters, is you're trying to look through, try out new things so that you can get something that works very well. Because if you're in your first semester, or even while you're at the community college, these are going to be the easier classes, and this is going to be the place where you want to try things out, so that once you get to the upper level, or once you transfer, and you're in things that are a little bit more intense, a little bit harder, you already have something working and you already know it works. So that is the main goal here. Strategies, I would say the biggest thing here is to try to reduce procrastination. So the book talks about, I think, eliminating procrastination. I don't think that's a realistic goal. I think humans in general will probably procrastinate until the day we die on something, right? If it's not school, it'll be something life. So I would say try to do less of it, less often. And I don't have to tell you these things. You know, when you procrastinate, it's not a good feeling. But for example, in our class, if everything is always due a certain night, like Sunday night, maybe try, instead of starting everything on Sunday, try starting something on Friday. Try starting one of the 2 or 3 or 4 assignments on Friday. Try starting 2 of the assignments on Friday, right? Try doing less procrastination less often so that you can rebuild new habits. And the thing is here, you're not going from 0 to 100, okay? So don't go from I procrastinate everything to trying to procrastinate nothing. Do little baby steps. That's how we work as humans, and you just kind of have to work with what you got. All right, as for the tools, I think the 2 most helpful probably are to-do lists and planners. And everybody's different, so to-do list is a little bit more short-term, planners a little bit longer term. I will say, regardless of what you choose, make sure you are detailed. So don't just write in your planner or on your to-do list, study. Put what you got to study for. Put what you are going to be studying. Just think about it in life terms. I'm not going to write in my calendar, right? I'm not going to put in there, go to the grocery store. I'm going to make a list of what I need to buy. Otherwise, I'm going to get home, and this happens all the time, and I have a lot of stuff, and maybe 1 or 2 of the main things I didn't get are things that I really needed, part of why I went. So be specific. That will help you. And the whole point of any of the tools or strategies is to help you. These are all things that are there to help you. If you're somebody that's in a lot of online classes, I will say right now, we are still fluctuating between Moodle and Canvas, but if your classes are in Moodle, make sure you use the app. Canvas, make sure you use the app, because they both have the calendar, and it will give you notifications, and you can set them for the day before, the day of, 3 days before, 15 minutes before, but they do have notifications in those apps, so I would definitely encourage you to use those. And the last thing here, if we're talking about time management, break things into pieces. This is a topic, distributed practice, which is talked about in all 5 of these chapters. But it's just breaking things into smaller pieces, makes it easier for us to do. And if you think about it, in real life, this is what we do. You don't go in the movie theater and watch a 7-hour movie. Nobody does that. Nobody would do that, probably. Maybe 1 or 2 of you. But tons of us will stream 7 episodes of something because we can pause it, stop it, come back to it later, right? We're breaking it into smaller chunks. So same thing here, distributed practice with academics. If you're trying to study or read or do homework, don't try to do it all at one time. Stop, take some breaks, break it up into pieces, switch between activities, whatever works best for you. You'll see that in the video this week, switch tasking. So I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next video for, I believe it is reading comprehension. Bye.